I'm Caitlin Phillips, and this is the Side Comment. On this episode, Suki Finn explores a number of fascinating facts about her book, Women of Ideas, and why seeking insights from a broad sweep of people benefits us all.
Hi, my name is Suki Finn, and I'm a lecturer in philosophy at Royal Holloway, University of London. My research ranges from the abstract world of metaphysics and the philosophy of logic to the more applied areas of pregnancy and love. I have a passion for feminist and queer theory, and I am proud to be on the executive committee for the Society for Women in Philosophy UK. Women of Ideas is my first book, and in this side comment episode, I'm going to tell you a few things about it that I hope will spark your interest. Firstly, the title. Women of Ideas got its name from Men of Ideas, which was a 1978 BBC television series in which presenter Brian McGee interviewed noted philosophers of the time. Of course, though, it was not just men who had ideas, yet only one guest on the series was a woman. That woman was Iris Murdoch. Women's ideas in philosophy and beyond have historically been underrepresented and at worst silenced. This is to the detriment not just of the women, but of the areas that have excluded them, which are deprived of their worthy contributions. And you can bet their contributions are worthy. The same goes for the ideas from other marginalised or underrepresented groups. For example, Black and Asian people, those from ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, the LGBTQIA+ community. I could go on. The point is, if you can pardon the example, a homogeneous meal is an unhealthy meal, and so it is high time that the ideas on the table and those sat at the table become more diverse and inclusive, which will improve the lot for us all. My book, Women of Ideas, attempts to take a small step in achieving that aim. Crucially, I want to add, that women's ideas are not just for women, just as men's ideas aren't just for men. The binary of men and women should be challenged anyway, rather than reinforced. And furthermore, the gender of the holder of the idea should be irrelevant. But we are not living in a world where gender is irrelevant, which is why highlighting that these ideas are from women is an important aspect of the book. This does not, however, make it a book for women specifically. It's a book for everyone. And I encourage anyone interested in philosophy to take a look, or even a listen, in its audio form. This brings us on, secondly, to the contents of the book. Women of Ideas collates interviews from the podcast Philosophy Bites, which was founded and is co-hosted by Nigel Warburton and David Edmonds. Philosophy Bites has been a major success, with over 40 million downloads worldwide, and 3 previous edited book collections, all published with Oxford University Press. These 3 books are called Philosophy Bites, published in 2010, Philosophy Bites Back, published in 2012, and Philosophy Bites Again, published in 2014. There were around 100 episodes of Philosophy Bites interviews in the archive, covering interesting topics by inspiring women. And for Women of Ideas, I had the difficult task of choosing under 30 interviews from that pre-existing set to be included in the book. Regretfully, given the underrepresentation of trans women, black women, and women with disabilities in philosophy, for example, there are still demographics that are not adequately represented in the book. It is therefore not to be considered as a comprehensive coverage of the variety of women and their ideas in philosophy. But it is a spotlight on women, nonetheless, which is needed given the following statistics. A 2018 survey conducted by the Higher Education Statistics Agency showed that only 29.7% of philosophers employed in the UK universities are women. This is the lowest representation of women in any discipline outside of science, technology, and engineering. And in the United States, the latest data assessed in 2011 from the Digest of Education Statistics, which is a publication of the National Centre for Education Statistics, found only 21% of professional philosophers to be women. The numbers are even lower when considering additional factors such as race and ethnicity. There is, as such, a lot of progress yet to be made. Thirdly, and finally, here are some details on the topics covered in the interviews and some extra bits that you can find in the book. The interviews illuminate diverse aspects of being human, including the personal, social, ethical, and political. The interviewees discuss the relations between humans and animals, between genders, between tastes, between cultures, and between nations. They look at some of the things that are wrong with our world, such as injustice, deprivation, and bias, and they consider the role of civility, trust, and consent in our interactions. There are reflections on the history of philosophy, from Plato to Beauvoir, comparisons between Western philosophy and Buddhist philosophy, and discussion of philosophy in Africa. The volume concludes by investigating how philosophy works, how it makes progress, and its role in public life. As well as including the transcriptions of these interviews, I also asked the interviewees what it's like being a woman in philosophy. The answers are diverse. That's not surprising. They range from frustration at being asked the question, since of course men do not get asked about their experience as a man in philosophy, to celebration, since the academy is a much better place for women than it used to be, despite there still being a considerable way to go. Also, the diversity of responses to my question invites a diversity of reactions, from feeling disturbed to tickled to encouraged and inspired. I do hope that you can take something stimulating from those anecdotes and learn something interesting from the interviews. That's all I have to say for now, so thank you for tuning in and for engaging with Women of Ideas. Goodbye!